Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk about Game of Thrones over breakfast. Just in case one day off was enough to rot your brain, that's what we do. And who we are is Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. And we're here on a Monday with you tackling Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman. That was my Davos. Did you get Davos out of that at all? Wasn't bad.
One more time.
The Red Woman. Oh, yeah. Now, have a bowl of brown for me. Oh, the Red Woman. Princess, I'll make you, dear, and a dear lady. Yeah, sure I will. I'm getting farther away from Davos. I did not claim to be good at this. Season 6, Episode 1. Guys, we had some contentious opinions about Season 5. And I'm wondering here, Season 6, before we kind of get into our breakdown, you think starting out a little better, starting out a little worse? What are your thoughts?
For me, definitely better.
Yeah.
Better. I agree with that. I feel you. I am stalling so that I can pull up the wiki.
With regards to stalling, I just a little brief story before you this. So, working on a home theater, right? Super excited. Right. I've talked about it, right? I just like to leave a little moment because fuck UPS is where I want to start this conversation.
Oh, no.
Those sons of bitches fucking eat shit and die. So, getting something shipped to your house from UPS is probably one of the most painful, annoying things ever. First, they give you an app that you can log in and create so you can track your package. Completely cool with me, right? But then it says, hey, you can have options to change things. But you don't control those options. They do. So every time I'm trying to adjust options like, okay, well, I don't know what fucking adult that works can be home between 9 till 3. Like, that's not my work schedule. And I've put multiple messages, talked to multiple people and said, hey, can you deliver after 4? Because if you can, the likelihood of me or my wife being home probably going to be better. And they're like, we can't do that. We can't guarantee that. It's the driver's decision. I'm like, oh, well, can I send a message to the driver requesting that? Oh, no. We can't do that either. I'm like, okay, so you're essentially telling me that there's nothing I can do to make sure I get my package, which is frustrating, but not the worst thing, because usually if they don't deliver your package, they go, all right, well, Tony, you can go to those UPS drop-off sites, right, and pick up your package.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck those people, though, because here's what they don't tell you. If your package is valued over a certain number, they don't fucking take it to those places. Oh, no. They send it back to the fucking shipper, and then that shipper then contacts you and goes, we're going to charge you again to ship it to you because it got sent back to us.
This is a lot to unpack here, pun intended.
Good.
I want to start with the fact that you're not going to just gloss over that humble package or that little humble brag that you're spending enough money that they that they have to do something special.
No. Well, okay, so here's my problem. Okay, so if you're ordering technology, right? Especially like a projector, yes, we're talking in some situations more than $1,000. And I don't know the number of which UPS decides to shove dildos up their asses, but it's not that high. And then you talk to them on the phone, and their fucking ineptness is just mind-boggling. Because I'm like, I've spoken to 3 different people and been told 3 different things about why my package is supposed to be someplace it's not. I'm like, okay, but on the fucking app that you made me fucking put on my phone so I can do a tracking, which ungodly. So tracking to me should be like, we live in a time of GPS. Estimated delivery time is the end of the day. And then it's suddenly attempted deliver. Not, hey, we're on our way to your location. Hey, we'll probably be there between 3 and 4. It's literally it's by the end of the day, and then we attempted delivery. That's not fucking tracking.
How do you change that? Unless you have the delivery driver scan every box at each stop and say, okay, this is X number of stops away. Like,
most places that deliver, I would say, for example, like I get coffee shipped from California delivered, right? I get an alert when it is on the way to me from the postal service. Like, So the Postal Service, which we could argue is probably another group of just specially retarded people, probably not the way to go with that conversation. Uniquely inept people, will go that way. They can do it. Why can't a multi-billion-dollar company improve their tracking ability?
Just because I don't have demographic info on the 16 people that listen to this podcast, I've had pretty good luck with UPS.
Oh no, fuck UPS.
here in my area. They're actually the only shipping company that consistently I have good luck with. USPS is okay, but just to jump onto your bandwagon, fuck FedEx with a stick.
Oh yes. Okay. But I just want to wait, one more point with this. So then I call the place that shipped me my projector, and I say to them, guys, I just got informed by UPS that it's going back to you. And the guy's like, well, yeah, that's pretty typical. And I would be like, excuse me? Like, you didn't communicate that with me. You didn't communicate with me that they couldn't deliver it 3 days, Friday, Monday, and today, between fucking 9 and 1, because what the fuck? I would have taken off work. I would have called in sick if I knew this was going to be an issue. Like, if they didn't do that, it was going to be shipped back to New York, of which you were going to then charge me another $145 to reship this thing.
Now, so I understand, I mean, I don't understand why, but I get that they're not redirecting it to that drop-off point immediately.
Yep.
Through the UPS app,
Yeah.
you can schedule packages to just go there instead. Can you not do that?
So the company decided, due to the value of the object, they would not allow that. They don't tell me that reason. They don't give me a reason.
Ridiculous.
And I even said that. I'm like, wait, so you're willing for me because now I've spoken to the company after getting a huge argument with them. I'm like, no, send it to the UPS location. If I would have known this was going to be an issue, I would have had it sent there from the first place. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. I'm like, and that just pissed me off. I'm like, wait, it's no problem to do that, but you wouldn't let that happen prior? What the fuck? Like, that's even more asinine to me. And then the fact that they want to recharge me for shipping because they don't explain their policy. I get it. Crazy. I get it. It's like,
but it almost doesn't sound like UPS's issue, that.
But then here's my problem with the UPS. UPS communicated with me on 3 different times that the package, if I wanted it, I simply had to just wait till it was a failed delivery, which was 3 days of attempts, and then I could always pick it up there. So then I was like, oh, well, no big deal. But then on the 3rd day today, when I called them, they were like, oh no, we sent it back to New York. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, you just told me Friday, that this was going to be going to this place in Dayton and I can pick it up. And they're like, oh, well, that's not true. I'm like, kind of a big deal, guys, when you're shipping something to me.
I am now actually remembering this massive headache I had back in January that I must have put out of my psyche. I bought a phone from Google and they shipped it UPS, same problem. They wouldn't send it back to the place, so I called them and they're like, oh yeah, it's a company thing. So I call the company, they say, no, we can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I can have someone else sign for it. No, we can't do that. You got to be home. And It was like, now thankfully I'm in the position, my day starts a little bit earlier. So I was able to get them to push their delivery off past 1:00 and be home for it. But still, I totally forgot about that headache. So you're right. All of a sudden, no. Yeah.
Okay.
Get my fucking stick out and shove it up some ass.
Get the fucking stick out of your ass, yes. You and FedEx, little circle jerk, little dildo ass action, fucking die. All right. On throats.
Hans, how's your? I know you had some packages go missing recently.
Yeah, this is coming at a prime time since my packages are currently being stolen. So I don't think
it seems like you need a.
It's not USPS's fault because they're dropping them off in my apartment building. My building manager is confirming that she's getting them, putting them at my door, and then I just never get them. So.
See, now you're in a particularly difficult catch-22 because it sounds like you also need a fucking stick. But here's the thing.
Yes, you do.
They
Yes.
range in price and quality, and if you really want to get the highest value for your money, you gotta get it from Amazon. And if your packages aren't showing up,
Where are you getting that sweet fucking stick?
yeah, exactly.
God.
You need that 5-star rated, because a little splintering is good, but too much and you're just gonna break the shaft off, and then you've got a single use stick.
So what I'm
it's
hearing is
ridiculous.
bamboo. I'm hearing bamboo is coming through
Yeah.
as the way to go. Right?
Bamboo's good. Yeah,
Fibrous.
bamboo is
Fibrous.
solid, fibrous. It's got enough bend to it that you can kind of give it a
Little bit
good
of warping.
wiggle.
Yeah.
Just what's so annoying is who the shit is stealing mail. Like,
That's a
Why
federal
risk it?
crime,
It's a
right?
big federal crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
and
not
like
a little
I
thing.
I can tell you right now, my package is not worth stealing. That's the thing. Is like the first time they stole it.
I've seen your package.
Seriously. The first time they stole it, opened it, and realized it's a fucking like action figure, or some shit that's like $15. Why are they going for round 2? Is what I don't get. Like, is this really worth a felony, like a federal crime? I don't
Now,
know.
Hans, I think we might actually be able to connect the dots here on 2 of your recent issues. Have you considered that the person stealing your packages is the person who was trying to lowball bid you on these Jordans?
I think so. Did I tell you that I sold my Jordans, by the way?
To her, right?
Yeah, to her for not only $10, $13.50.
Boom.
Is that the shipping edition there, or no? You just got her up to it. She
No,
bid it.
she bid up to $13.50. Someone else swooped in, tried to steal them out from under her.
You're welcome. Oh,
Aren't these like size 5 child?
Yeah, youth 6.5s.
we've got a great show for you today. The Roots are here. Oh wait, no, sorry. Channeling the wrong person here. We are tackling some Game of Thrones. We are about to unpack an episode here because it's the only thing we've had delivered, and it's season 6, episode 1, The Red Woman. Still don't have that Davos down. Guys want a little plot action? Anyone but Davos. So I'm taking requests.
I'm gonna go Kermit the Frog.
Okay.
Kermit the
All right.
Frog.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog here. At Castle Black, Thorne defends his treason while Ed and Davos defend themselves. Sansa and Theon race the cold and the hounds.
It's the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
At least it's bigger sentences, but
And I feel like almost grammatically correct.
Oh yeah, almost
There's a comma.
almost there.
I feel like I'm getting a little, who is it? I can't put my finger on it.
I'm trying to
There's
think.
there's a little influence coming in.
Kermit the Frog here.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's
Rest in
Muppety.
peace,
I'm
Jim
just trying to
Henson.
figure out what the name, who it would be.
Well, now Kermit is considered a Muppet, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Because now again, I watched them as a kid, but it's so construed and everything. Kermit is not Sesame Street. Kermit is the Muppets.
I have no idea. Aren't they? Don't
But-
they like? Isn't that one of those things where they like, they float on both sides, kind of thing?
Yeah, so I think the Sesame Street characters are technically considered Muppets,
Right.
but then there are the Muppets,
Right.
and that's like Kermit and Miss Piggy and Gonzo and Beaker.
Was it Jim Henderson?
Professor
Is that who
Honeydew.
created the Muppets?
Jim Henson.
Henson. Yeah.
Jimmy Henson.
Yeah. He's also
He's
great on the
dead.
guitar. Great on the guitar.
he's fast, and he makes those sausages. Oh wait, no,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's Jimmy Dean. Oh well, the red woman. I wonder who they're talking about in this episode. Perhaps they're talking just to throw the whole strategy of the game off here. Perhaps they're talking. Oh my God, what a gross burp! About our only good, bad, and juggly moment of the episode, Melisandre. I feel like we don't give her name enough pizzazz, because my gosh, does it deserve just a little bit of pizzazz. But that's right, you guys. It's a Monday. As if your day wasn't already thrown off enough, let's start at the bottom of the episode today. Melisandre gets a little naked for us. We get to see her... Slip of the
We get to
tongue.
see a whore?
We get to,
Yes,
see, we
we
get
do.
to see her very lovely top shelf nipples, which I gotta be honest, gave me some giggles at first, but I've started to appreciate the uniqueness of her physical form. And just when I was starting to enjoy it, She's got to go and do something that I did not expect.
That makes you feel dirty in ways that you don't want to feel.
So, is this from the books? Is she like an old lady in the books?
We are past the
We are
books
past the
now,
books.
so we don't know. Now, I will, and maybe we spoke about this. Oh, I think Rob schooled us a little bit on this. But she takes off her choker. She is revealed to be a very old woman. I've read some interviews and stuff with the directors of the show, and they're saying they weren't going for a specific age. They just very much wanted to imply that she could be very ancient, could be, a younger form of old, but that it was kind of immaterial and that she was something else was going on keeping her there. But she is old as shit, suffice it to say. She's got hair that's barely clinging to her head. Her pubes are doing okay, actually.
Really?
Surprisingly enough.
Whew, they got rough there for a moment.
I mean, I don't think that they were like even gray.
I just remember them being much more deflated.
They were they were not full of life pubes.
Yeah.
I would call it. They did not have good bounce and volume. But you got to think that no one in this world has conditioner. So
Right.
how much can you really hope for?
Right, yeah. And it's cold outside. Dry skin, you don't go all that.
It's true. That's not conducive to good hair growth. You gotta treat them follicles right. You gotta lotion up. And she loves good bathing. I'm surprised. You would think that out of anybody.
She's a bath person, which I don't necessarily know how I feel about baths, but I'm sure that obviously plumbing wasn't the thing at that time, so shower water pressure really not your thing as well. But bathing, bathrooms disgusting to me.
Have I told you my embarrassing ass bath story?
No.
Please.
Like when I realized that I would never ever be a true man.
Go on.
Go.
This was maybe like a year and a half ago.
Oh my god, this is a recent bath story. Even
It's a
better.
semi-recent bath story, yeah. First of all, actually, a lot of my weird stories in life have to do with the bathtub. I should talk to a therapist about that. Only 2 times I've ever slept walk in my life. Woke up in the shower. Sounds dangerous, by the way. But no, so actually, this might have been a couple years ago. This was right before season 7 of Game of Thrones premiered, because I was re-watching all of the episodes leading up to that. And I had been watching episodes, like a Sunday or something. Been watching a lot of episodes all day, really binging the crap out of it. And I had a productive day otherwise than that, which is rare that I get, my lazy and my productivity on. So it was early in the evening. I didn't know what to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to relax in the bath, but I want to hit this Game of Thrones. So I went and found my tablet. It was dead. I was like, I don't really want to wait for it to charge. I'm not going to take my laptop into the bathroom. That sounds like a problem. So my only other thought was, well, I could hold my phone. I don't want to do that. So I had a 22-inch TV hanging out in my closet.
Sweet.
I took it and I set it up on the back of my toilet. Plugged it in, got the Chromecast working so that I could stream Game of Thrones while I was in the bathtub. And then as I'm getting everything ready, I'm like, oh, you know what? My bathtub, really cheaply made, doesn't hold heat for shit. And the water doesn't really stay hot long enough to fill the whole tub with nice warm water.
So you
what
got
I did,
an electric heater and you put it in the water, right?
next best thing, I got the electric kettle going in the kitchen and just Game of Thrones style started funneling boiling water back and forth from the bathroom to add to the running water in the tub. Got like 4 batches in. Got to a real nice acceptable temperature there. Then as I'm getting prepared, I'm like, well, gotta have some wine to not only celebrate the great bath but the Game of Thrones as well. So grab a nice thought about a glass, just went for the straight bottle of Chardonnay and brought it into the bathroom.
That's rosé for the evening.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm continue to set everything up. I go like down to the level that I'm going to be at, and I notice a glare from the light on the TV. It's like terrible. So I turn the light off, and then it's too dark. I'm like, okay, odd, nope, not going to work. And so
There's only one practical solution.
Yeah, only one practical solution. I have to get an external lamp. I have one lamp to my name, and it only has an orange light bulb in it because it's my favorite color, so why would I have not bought it in college when I purchased this lamp? So the mood lighting that was set in this bathroom was like this very ambient rose color, like sunset Tuscan villa that just filled the bathroom. And of course, in case I didn't mention it, it was lavender honey scented bubble bath, because you're not just going to take a bath in your own muck.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And so, so I settled down in a nice bubble bath, warmed by the electric kettle, and with a bottle of Chardonnay for an hour, watching Game of Thrones on the TV that was propped up on my toilet. And I knew that day that my father would never accept me as his son. And that I would have to Samuel Tarly things away into the Nice Watch, lest I get killed in the hunt. I was sorry. That was a long story. I apologize.
Yeah,
the payoff's
it's
probably
good.
not great.
I have heard that story. The second you started telling that story, I knew exactly what you were talking about. I couldn't remember. To this day, Tony remains Tony Snow.
Never worthy of my family name. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, shit. Why did I even tell the bath story? What were we...
Oh, because baths are disgusting, and I was like talking about Melisandre and all those things. Give you my opinion on the whole Red Woman thing really quickly. Miranda, because, Miranda's dead and bleeding all over the ground. And Ramsay finds her and is like, fuck. Liked her.
She was hanging out. He did. He was showing some
actual human emotion.
He was,
and then he ends it with a typical Ramsay. Feed her to the hounds. She's good meat.
Mm-hmm. I almost wrote down a complaint, actually, because we saw her hit the pavement. And then he's like, look, you're looking at her and she looks pretty pristine. And then it cuts to the other side of her face and she's like a mangled mess.
Yeah.
So never mind. They did her just fine. In that condition.
So
as for Melisandre, just real quick before we run away from her as fast as we can, Rob did point out in the recap, I believe, that she has taken the collar off before. I went and just verified that again, watched the video. It is true. There are some conspiracy theories floating around online as to what the situation could have been, but I think it's probably just a continuity error.
I do too. I think they just fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. She has a shit ton of vials around her too, so you could argue that maybe she didn't take that sweet medicine, so who knows.
True. And which I think could be, if they didn't just mess up, it could be something that, hey, maybe this is a decision the showrunners made and not the book. Because if it was an established thing that was going to happen in the books and they knew that, then they wouldn't have had her take the choker off in the first place.
Yeah. I guess my only thought is maybe, I don't know. My only thought was maybe the choker doesn't really have anything to do with it. And it just happened to be coincidence that she was taking everything off and then turned. And it's more just due to the fact that she's in private. We haven't really seen her alone too many times.
Yeah, that could be too. Because she could just be preparing for bed because she goes to bed after this. And I don't know about you guys, but when I settle down for the evening, I usually take my enormously large ruby choker off.
Yeah,
true.
At least the one that's around my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought maybe she was just going to bed, and I can't remember, but I don't think we've ever seen her like alone in her room or like in private before. And it was just coincidence that she was taking the choker off right before. I don't know. That was my only thought, but I don't know how. They sure seem to focus on that quite a bit. So
they did. You gotta give a little bit of credit here. By the way, we don't know her specific age, but I'd say conservatively we put her at 100, and she, last we knew, still fertile.
Yeah,
true.
She can push out those babies with the best of them.
Yeah. Well,
those
push out something.
sweet demon babies that are so ugly only a mom could love.
Now, it does come to my attention that some other things happen in this episode as well. Jon is still dead. Yep. Again. Probably stay that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Feels right.
He's been stabbed up and down. Davos has some hope. They kind of start to fortify a little bit. I like that. They're really not. Again, we struggle with the issue of why would they just leave his body out there? Other than that, I like the fact that they're kind of playing it close to the chest. They're pretty much assuming they're going to die in there and trying to figure out what they can do to maybe help John, but moreover just to try and figure out what this means for them. This next couple episodes, we get some good development from Davos, who is really just in adrenaline mode at this point, not having any time to mourn.
Do you think, I mean, I don't remember this episode. I don't feel like they're explaining as much that they feel like Melisandre can come in and actually revive John to the other people. Like the other men are just like, I'm trying to get what's their motivation. Like, are they trying to mutiny as well? Trying to get help from the wildlings? That they feel like that'll lead to them, going against Thorne? Because I feel like Davos is like, his goal is to see if he can save John, which I don't know if we have enough to believe in that way,
No, I think it does have a flaw to it. And we hear Davos say, like, I'm not asking in the next episode, I think I'm not asking the Lord of Light for help. I'm asking you, you showed me that miracles exist. I think Davos is hoping to the 1 ounce of magic that he's seen in the world, that he can do things beyond what he thought possible. But we also have to kind of step back and realize that Davos never, ever saw anybody come back to life. He doesn't know that this should be a possibility. And the fact that it's kind of such a go-to thing for him seems a little odd.
Seems a lot. And then the magic he's seen really wasn't magic. It was fucking evil. Right?
He was very against it.
Yeah, and it didn't last, right? It's not like that creature, that we know of, is not crawling around someplace else. We have no idea. Demon babies for life.
Yeah, the people who, it was created for, Stannis. I wouldn't say that it led to his downfall, but he certainly fell anyway. And so who's to say what Davos would think is cursed of that? I also don't think that they necessarily establish Davos's connection to John.
Totally agree.
I get that he liked him. I understand that Stannis liked him. Davos and John had a couple moments, but he seems very ready to die in this room.
Right.
And that could be an honor thing more than anything. But what did you guys feel about that? Did it feel off at all?
I have an easier time believing that part of the story versus the part where he thinks he's going to bring John back. I wish they would have at least somehow, for all the characters that they have run into each other and all the coincidences through the show and the crazy time constructs and all this stuff that happens.
Yeah.
I wish they would have at least somehow introduced one of those characters in that room to to someone who's actually come back from the dead, or like at least heard this story or something, because I did think it was weird that anyone would think that was possible. So I think it was kind of an easy fix. Like, it wouldn't have stretched to have one of these characters run into, what are those guys called?
The Brotherhood.
Yeah, the Brotherhood, and see this guy, right? Because like the Hound saw it. We could add some other storyline or something where this had come across, especially if this was going to be, I'm assuming they knew this was the plan early on in the show.
Yeah, I would think so. The only other plot hole I think I have with this time period is Melisandre comes to the room with Davos and everything, sees John, blah, 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 they talk. She leaves. And then they go on to establish the fact that they're kind of boarded up in there for better or for worse. They send Ed off secretly to try and meet with the wildlings. Thorne has a discussion, and apologies, I don't know what goes into this episode into the next one, but beyond these things, we get these discussions where it's like, okay, we're kind of stuck here, and they're going to eventually come in and try to break things down. But then somehow Melisandre also doesn't get like taken captive or anything. She could just kind of chill in her room, and then she comes back. Like, she makes it back to the room to kind of reconvene with them in the next episode.
Yeah, it
seems odd.
It's not clear why they're. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of women at the wall. So why is she allowed back, and what is that about?
Yeah. So the only thought that I have is maybe, we don't have a good local geographical thing like a map. So maybe they're in some sort of tower or multi-roomed thing that is also where Melisandre is staying. But I want to say when she shows up the first time, she enters in the front door.
Yeah, and they definitely come to that door when Thorne is having the conversation about kind of like letting everyone leave, no harm, no foul, and Thorne's gotta probably be like, really, like he's dead, so why are you guys keeping his body in there? That's gotta be a bit odd, right?
Yeah. What do you guys? Did you have a least favorite part of the episode we haven't touched on yet? My least favorite bit of the episode was heading to Dorne again and having Ilaria and Tyene make their ultimate move. I guess the Sand Snakes in general, taking out Prince Doran and taking out Prince Trystane as well, which by in and of itself I didn't hate. I understand that they've been moving towards coup territory. They obviously, killed Myrcella Lannister. They did not think that they were going to get away with that. But my problem was, if they're going to make a coup, and they've already set it up to where, like, the guards in the capital are on their side, why would you not do this coup 8 hours beforehand when you have Jaime Lannister, who you want dead, there, and could take him out as well? But you let him leave with Myrcella so that word gets back to King's Landing faster about her death, and then you invoke any sort of wrath that might come from that. It seems weirdly non-logic based, and I guess you could make the statement that they're working on emotion, but if that is the case, they've set up an awful lot of checks and balances so that they got away with this coup.
Yeah, and they actually sent back, in my opinion, a declaration of war, right? They sent back a dead princess.
Which maybe is what Ilaria wants. Maybe.
Oh yeah, she's suicide rage right now, right? I mean, she is out for blood and gets it. And when Tyene kills the prince, another, blade in the skull face area.
Into the face.
Yeah, it's I don't. Yeah, that was an impressive scene. Tyene still hot, deadly, but hot.
Still hot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just like how she goes.
Dorne thoughts?
I just like how she goes. You're a greedy bitch or whatever. After he stabs him right through the face. I think that's that line of things. Probably my least favorite part too. I still don't understand why Tristane's on a different ship.
Yeah, don't get that.
Because we never
Which
saw the
apparently
ship
still
either.
seems to be in the harbor.
Right. Because they're there, right? So the whole thing seems weird. And then again, why? I guess maybe she's trying to get back at Cersei specifically, and knowing that Myrcella alone would be the worst. But in general, you would think that she wouldn't necessarily want to kill Myrcella. She would want to, like you said, Jaime would be a better revenge against the Lannisters than Myrcella. She didn't really do anything wrong.
And it's not like she had to pick. You could have killed both of them if you're trying to send a declaration of war to Cersei.
It seems a bit impractical as far as their plans go. Maybe, and obviously, like you're saying, so well planned out that all the guards are even in on this. I don't know. It seems weird. I agree. I thought it was weird.
It does lead to my favorite moment of the show, actually, and this might be my first Cersei moment that I've talked about really liking. I do like Cersei as a character, but I love to hate her. So just like Joffrey, she's not going to be my favorite part of most things. But this is why I think she is such a great villain, is we do get to get very real and very tangible kind of inspirations for her actions. And it's come down to, in the past couple seasons, her children and her love for that. And she's doubled down a couple times of pulling back from the power that she wants to really kind of protect her children and to try and improve their futures through questionable means, especially in the previous season that ultimately led to some stupid stuff for her. But here she has been beaten and literally bloodied and shamed beyond belief. She's been hoarded up in her room, and we see her near giddy at the prospect of Myrcella being back, and that scene where she's running down to the beach there to see Jaime, to see that shrouded thing coming back, and then her having that conversation with Jaime.
Yeah.
This is her beyond saving moment. I don't think it's where her crazy fully snaps yet, but it's at this point where it's like, okay, Cersei is she's not in it for her kids. She is surrendering to this prophecy that was given to her, and she is saying, okay, you're saying that's happening to me? Fine, but I'm going to take everyone down with me. And this is where I think that turn starts to really happen. It was really cool.
Jeremy, do you have a favorite part, or is that the same?
No. Sorry, I do have a favorite part. That wasn't my favorite. I agree. I think it's a very powerful scene. I actually thought the Melisandre stuff where I think that's such a twist because I thought that was a really cool part. And again, I love boobs, so top shelf were nice. And my worst for me was Arya. Really
interesting.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Arya. It's really, really good. The whole blind waif fighting, beating the crap out of her. It's brief. It just, I don't know. It just was meh for me. I've wanted this to be more interesting than what it has been in Bravos. I think there could have been so much cooler ways to do training. And again, Game of Thrones has this thing of constantly, hitting low points to rebound. And I keep wondering every time I think, oh, okay, well, this is a low point. Oh, nope, going back. This is a low point. So I feel like this whole repetition with Arya of constantly getting broken down more, I'm just kind of over it. So
it's interesting. I actually really like the moment, this like blind beggar thing that she's doing in the next episode. And I understand that they're trying to lengthen the period a bit, but I thought that, as you're saying, like repetition's a bit much.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary in this episode for them to show what they did. But I do like it going forward.
And Waif, her character, there's a spitefulness here that just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I wish we had more character understanding for her and motivation because from the book, Waif is not this way. So I wish I had more understanding of why she seems so spiteful in the show.
I think the only clue of anything we get is that one conversation when they're playing the Game of Faces for the first time when she says, you not from here, show up with a coin you haven't earned. With a name you haven't given up or something. Like she's like this because this guy likes you. You have basically
skipped ahead.
Skipped ahead. Not put the time in. Not put the work in. Not felt the hurt that I have felt. Yeah. Been on the very bottom shelf of bottom to get here. And it's unclear. It seems like she knows an awful lot about Arya. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's not quite clear if she knows everything. But she does seem a little.
And I guess I wish I had a little more of that. And maybe they're like, oh, she's not an important character. But to me, to make the backstory and the suffering of Arya, it makes sense to give me a little bit more for the Waif character, so I can understand why this is happening, so I can get why Arya grows from it.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think that character is a little flawed in the show. From a writing standpoint, only because it just seems uncharacteristic of a faceless man or faceless little girl, I guess. To be so
man,
because if you've given up your own identity and all this stuff and really taken on this faceless role, you shouldn't be carrying these like inherent jealousies and all these feelings. Like that doesn't necessarily make sense. That seems uncharacteristic of what that character should be. Mm-hmm. And maybe she's not there yet and she's still in training and everything. And you could argue like if she's feeling those ways, like I don't think she's ready to be a faceless person yet. So I don't know. It doesn't quite fit for me either.
I wonder if they're going for like a two sides of the coin thing, whereas Jaqen feels, he's obviously the face of Jaqen, I guess. He's obviously playing this role of the more dominant teacher, but you could maybe make the point that he is kind of the guidance, the acceptance that she's looking for, the light touch, whereas she is the more heavy hand, and so the neutrality might wind up in the middle, but they're kind of playing good cop, bad cop, testing her from both sides with, strict rules and strict things. And then on the Waif side with, okay, we're going outside the rules here. You got to learn to play by any rule book necessary. And if that means that I get to hit you in the face, it means I get to hit you in the face.
Sure, yeah. And if it's solely for the training, then that makes perfect sense to me. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that those are her like true feelings and that she could be successful in what she's doing, or I don't know.
Yeah. And I think my point is hindered by that one scene we get when Jaqen sends Arya off to kill the Thin Man, and the Waif says, "Oh, she's not ready." And Jaqen's like, maybe not, like blah blah blah. He seems kind of ambivalent about the whole thing, but it does seem like they're at odds.
Yeah.
But then I would say, in support of your point, the last scene when Arya becomes blind, the fact that Jaqen drinks it, and then Waif becomes Jaqen behind her, it's like they're very much interconnected, right? And it does seem in a training way, right? Because they're both constantly molding Arya to get her to be who they maybe feel she needs to be or wants to be. So and I thought that was a very cool scene in that sense of like making you rethink maybe who is Jaqen. I mean, as again, he keeps telling everyone I'm no one, and we keep wanting him to be the character when in reality it's more of a role he's playing.
Yeah.
Or she's playing for all we know.
I think that's a great point.
And we never did touch on the fact that like how hot did Jaqen Hagar look in that little girl dress?
Super hot. Super hot.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it was nice.
Just, any other stuff you want to touch on from season 6, episode 1?
My favorite part is neither of those, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's when Brienne saves Sansa.
Yes, Brienne. Yes. I did make a note here that Sansa and Theon running, if there was like 20 less words in that thing, that could have been like straight out The Revenant. They took a very interesting way of filming that scene where they're just kind of running. They ford this river, which looked like a terrible thing to film. Like, it's just this icy river that they're wading through, and then they kind of come to this hopeless scenario really fast, and Brienne and Podrick save the day.
Sure. Just some good killing.
Some real good killing. And Brienne...
Always partial to that.
Brienne offering up her sword again, and Sansa... uncharacteristically finally making a good choice.
Finally.
Not that she had much of a choice, it seems, at this point. Actually, I don't think we get it until the next episode, so I will hold off just because we're running a little long. Anything before we touch on Scones, y'all?
Dany now gets a chance to not get raped. Cool.
It's true. True.
So she's gonna go to the other wives of the Dothraki that have lost their husbands, and she seems stoked. And yeah, yep. And Podrick kills someone, which was good on yeah.
Tyrion and Varys find a fleet burning in the harbor.
Yeah, I forgot about that with the Son of Harpy thing. Yeah. But that's pretty much
glossed over. Yep. Yeah. And then we had a chocolate chip scone today. I had it, Nana Nana Boo Boo. It is from Electric Fountain Brewing Company here in Quincy. It's a tiny little bugger. Just a mini scone today, but it's quite good.
Mouth-watering.
Can you hear the moisture?
So do they do both coffee and beer, or is it just
coffee?
Okay, so it's a brewing company in the sense of like percolating coffee.
Indeed, they do. They're our only local roastery.
Yeah, good coffee, good stuff.
Do everything in house. Very good stuff. Would
Tony,
give them a sweet rec.
Do you know how you can make that scone better?
I would love to find out.
Remove the chocolate chips.
There's actually a fair bit of salt in it, which balances the chocolate nicely. If you remove the chocolate chips, you've got a fucked up biscuit.
Salty.
But hey, I guess for your fucked up palate, maybe it will work just fine.
Yeah,
I don't know. For whatever,
Jesus Christ.
For whatever your palates might find, good or bad, you can always find good things for your eyes, most of the time, up on our Instagram, Thrones and Scones. Of course, there's links to not only that, but all our episodes and everything else we do up at thronesandscones.com. And we will see you tomorrow for Season 6, Episode 2. You're down with GOT!
Yeah, you know me.
Beep! Normally, we would put in some long-winded, hilarious discussion here, but we basically said fuck UPS for 40 minutes earlier in this episode.
Again,
so just
fuck UPS.
rewind it and check that out.
Also, if the guy that is listening that lives in my building and stealing my packages, fuck that. Fuck you too.
Yeah, fuck you, FedEx, and UPS.
Bye.